Making the headlines tonight, Prime Minister Hun Sen and Mr. Divichia will be presented by 4 French lawyers in a court in France regarding a lawsuit filed against opposition leader Sam Rainsy. Prime Minister Hun Sen has said that he will urge Asean leaders to bid to host the FIFA World Cup in 2034 or 2038. The World Health Organization will convene an emergency committee next week to assess whether the monkeypox outbreak represents a public health emergency of international concern. And a group of seniors ululated and shook their behinds wrapped in orange, pink, and green hip scarves in a belly dancing class in New Jersey. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I am Convene. Prime Minister Hun Sen and Mr. Divichia will be represented by 4 French lawyers in a court in France regarding a lawsuit the Prime Minister filed against opposition leader Sam Rainsy. The 4 lawyers met with the Prime Minister at his residence in Takma City to examine and gather important evidence to prove a solid basis for the charge placed against Sam Rainsy in the trial scheduled for the 1st of September 2022. EAC News reporter Dashana Gojin has more.
4 French lawyers are set to represent Prime Minister Hun Sen and Mr. Divichia as the plaintiff in a lawsuit made against Sam Rainsy in Paris. During the meeting between the Prime Minister and his lawyers, Prime Minister Hun Sen highlighted the main points of wrongdoing exhibited by the opposition leader Sam Rainsy, outlining the primary reasons for why he filed the lawsuit against him. Prime Minister Hun Sen and Mr. Divichia filed a lawsuit against Sam Rainsy in Paris, France on 20th August 2019. A French investigating judge later charged the former opposition leader with defamation on 8 June 2020. The lawsuit against Sam Rainsy was filed after the opposition leader posted a message on his Facebook page and also made accusations against the Prime Minister during an interview with VOA Khmer. The 2 accusations made by Sam Rainsy were that Prime Minister Hun Sen had killed or was the mastermind behind the killing of Hok Lundi and that the Prime Minister had also ordered the killing of Chia Vichia.
ងាយខាងឧទ្ធម្ភាគចក្រហើយគេបានឃើញរូបឧទ្ធម្ភាគចក្រដែលលោកហុកឡៅឌីជីនោះគឺខ្ទេចខ្ទីអស់ទៅជាកំទេចតូចរាយប៉ាយនៅលើដីគេថានេះគឺគាត់បែកមិនមែនដូចលោកហ៊ុនសែនថាទេលោកហ៊ុនសែនថាផ្ទះបាច់អត់ទេពីព្រោះក្នុងឧទ្ធម្ភាគចក្រឬក្នុងយន្តហោះគេមានប្រព័ន្ធការពារផ្ទះហៅថា cash ឬ Faraday ពាក្យបារាំង Faraday cage ជាអង់គ្លេសគឺมันអាចផ្ទះបាញ់យន្តហោះឬឧទ្ធម្ភាគចក្របានទេហើយទី2ឧទ្ធម្ភាគចក្រហ្នឹងដែលមុននឹងផ្ទុះហ្នឹងគឺវាជិតដល់ដីហើយវារៀបចុះហើយអញ្ចឹងបើវាមានបញ្ហាម៉ាស៊ីនបើវាធ្លាក់ពេលហ្នឹងគឺវាធ្លាក់ទៀតតាវាមិនត្រូវឲ្យខ្ទេចទៅជាខ្ទេចតូចអញ្ចឹងទេអញ្ចឹងការពន្យល់នៃឧបទ្ទហេតុហ្នឹងគឺមានតែផ្ទុះក៏បាន
These severe allegations made by Sam Rainsy were the main reason why Prime Minister Hun Sen decided to file this lawsuit, which a French court later ruled as a violation of the domain of freedom of expression. The case is scheduled to go to trial later this year on 1st September 2022. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has said that he will urge Asean leaders to bid to host the FIFA World Cup in 2034 or 2038. He made this statement while speaking at the arrival of the FIFA World Cup trophy in Phnom Penh on Wednesday, 15th of June. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
As part of the FIFA World Cup tour, the FIFA World Cup trophy arrived in the Kingdom of Cambodia for the first time on Wednesday, the 15th of June. Upon landing in Phnom Penh, the trophy made its way to the Peace Palace, where the Prime Minister Hun Sen delivered a speech on the occasion of its arrival.
ឆ្នាំ2022នេះក្នុងនាមខ្ញុំជាប្រធានអាស៊ានខ្ញុំចង់ឃើញអាស៊ានមានចក្ខុវិស័យនិងផែនការដេញថ្លៃធ្វើជាម្ចាស់ផ្ទះនៃការប្រកួតកីឡាបាល់ទាត់ពិភពលោកនៅឆ្នាំ2034ឬ2038ដែលខ្ញុំនឹងពិនិត្យមើលលទ្ធភាពស្នើសុំឲ្យបណ្ដាប្រមុខរដ្ឋាភិបាលអាស៊ានគាំទ្រជំរុញគំនិតព្រួយបារម្ភនេះឲ្យคล้ายជាការពិត
The Prime Minister said that the ASEAN intends to jointly bid for the host of the FIFA World Cup and the Prime Minister will promote its incentive. He added that Asia has only hosted the World Cup twice before, once in 2002 in Korea and Japan and the second time this year in 2022 in Doha, Qatar. Meanwhile, Asean should consider bidding for the 2034 or the 2038 FIFA World Cup to supplement and values of the economic, culture, education and sports cooperation in the Asian community. A joint bid will be strengthened by the connections between member countries which leverage on the global economic strengths and fill in the shortcomings from potentially hosting the World Cup. The Prime Minister said Cambodia would like to thank the World Football Federation and the Coca-Cola Company for choosing Cambodia to host the trophy, and he wished the World Cup Tour 2022 World Cup event to be a great success. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The Cambodian Red Cross, with its honorary president, Queen Mother Norodom Sihanouk, and the president, First Lady Borani Hun Sen, has donated $1 million to the Cambodian Contemporary Foundation for the 5th time. This is also the 11th time the Contemporary Children's Hospital has received a donation from the Cambodian Red Cross since 2012. The donation was given at the headquarters of the Cambodian Red Cross on Tuesday, 14th of June, 2022. EAC News reporter Dashana Gochin has the details.
The Secretary General of the Cambodian Red Cross, Phum Chantini, representing First Lady Bunrani Hun Sen, along with the Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance and Executive Director of the Contemporary Foundation of Cambodia, Rosai Lava, handed over the $1 million donation to the Contemporary Children's Hospital, represented by Dr. Dennis Laurent, the General Director and representative of the Contemporary Swiss Foundation. During the meeting, the Cambodian Red Cross Secretary General delivered a speech on behalf of First Lady Bunrani Hun Sen, who is the National Outstanding Leader of the Joint Action Plan of the United Nations Secretary General for Women and Children's Health. She addressed the delegation in attendance, including the leaders of the Cambodian Contemporary Foundation, who she said have worked hard to raise funds to support Contemporary Children's Hospital, especially the doctors and staff of the hospital, who strive to provide health services to pregnant women and tens of thousands of children across the country. The Secretary General said, Contemporary Children's Hospital is a priority that has always been in the hearts and minds of Queen Mother Norodom Sihanouk and First Lady Bunrani Hun Sen, contributing with the royal government and the Contemporary Foundation of Cambodia to ensure that Contemporary Children's Hospital can continue its mission to provide health services to tens of thousands of Cambodian children. The director of the Cambodian Contemporary Foundation also thanked the Cambodian Red Cross for all its efforts to seek the support of donors from all walks of life and its continued contributions to the Contemporary Foundation of Cambodia, showing the consideration of the First Lady in promoting the well-being of children who are the human capital and future of Cambodia. He said, the Cambodian Contemporary Foundation and the Contemporary Swiss Foundation have been discussing strengthening cooperation, considering expanding the hospital, equipping it with state-of-the-art medical equipment, and providing health services to meet the needs of the people. He also expressed his commitment to making sure that the Contemporary Foundation of Cambodia is able to continue supporting the operation of providing life-saving services to Cambodian children in the future. Dr. Dennis Laurent also expressed his deepest gratitude to First Lady Bunrani Hun Sen for helping Contemporary Children's Hospital every year and for providing donations 11 times from 2012 until now. He said this is a precious form of support that helps to save the lives of all children who are being treated at the hospital. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
The Minister of Labour and Vocational Training, Samhae, has said that the students, youth, workers, and the general public must see the value and turn to study technical and vocational skills, which are in high demand in the labour market and almost fully guarantee a job with a decent income. EAC News reporter Dashana Gochin has more.
Speaking on the occasion of the 5th National Technical and Vocational Education and Training Day 2022 under the theme TVET Increases Productivity and High Competitiveness on Wednesday, the Minister of Labour said that TVET Day this year will be another great opportunity to make Cambodia a country rich in human resources, with manpower, knowledge, skills, ethics, professionalism, and high productivity, as well as a country that has the potential to attract local and foreign investors to Cambodia, especially large manufacturers, both now and in the future, to contribute to increasing income, creating jobs, and reducing poverty. The minister emphasized that TVET can help fulfill the dreams of every citizen to gain a lifelong education under a unified system that can easily cross back and forth and open up opportunities to make decisions about when, where, and how to conduct one's studies in line with each citizen's unique context and situation through the Cambodian National Qualifications Framework. This framework has a new capacity-based training program with 5 national qualifications for 5 sectors, including construction, power and electrics, electronics, mechanics, manufacturing, air conditioning and heating systems, and information and communications technology. It will launch competency testing and pre-service certification systems that will integrate all types of pre- and post-employment training, both online and offline, through the national TVET e-learning platform. The 5th National Technical and Vocational Education and Training Day 2022 is a demonstration of the efforts made under a national movement to expand awareness of the role and importance of education and technical and vocational training at both the national and subnational levels. The goal is to provide citizens with lifelong learning and to develop a skilled workforce, demonstrating how TVET can truly increase one's productivity and competitiveness in both domestic and foreign labor markets. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
The World Health Organization will convene an emergency committee on Thursday next week to assess whether the monkeypox outbreak represents a public health emergency of international concern. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said on Tuesday, 14th of June.
That is the highest level of warning issued by the UN agency, which currently applies only to the COVID-19 pandemic and polio.
The global outbreak of monkeypox is clearly unusual and concerning. It's for that reason that I have decided to convene the emergency committee under the international health regulations next week to assess whether this outbreak represents a public health emergency of international concern. I think it's now clear that there is unusual situation, meaning even the virus is behaving unusually from how it used to behave in the past. But not only that, it's also affecting more and more countries. and we believe that it needs also some coordinated response because of the geographic spread.
Monkeypox is endemic in parts of Africa, but there have been more cases both in those countries and the rest of the world. The virus causes flu-like symptoms and skin lesions and spreads through close contact. Tedros said that it was time to consider stepping up the response because the virus is behaving unusually. More countries are affected and there is a need for international coordination. We don't want to wait until the situation is out of control, said WHO Assistant Director General Ibrahima Sokefal. Tedros also said the decline in reported COVID-19 cases and deaths is still ongoing, but he warned that the figures are underreported due to decline in testing.
Britain's first flight to take asylum seekers to Rwanda was pulled at the 11th hour on Tuesday, 14th of June, after the European Court of Human Rights issued injunctions to stop the deportation of the handful of migrants on board, a government source said. The first migrants due to be deported by Britain to Rwanda were thought to have arrived at an air base in southwest England on Tuesday, 14th of June. The flight carrying asylum seekers is scheduled to depart later in the evening from the Boscombe Down military base in Wiltshire. The British government has warned that anyone who avoids being deported through last-minute legal challenges will be put on later plane, despite an outcry from critics. Meanwhile, the European Court of Human Rights has issued an order to prevent the deportation of one of the individuals, the charity Care for Carlisle said. With just hours to go before the flight was due to depart, lawyers for human rights groups and campaigners took their case to the Supreme Court, only for the judge to reject it. However, several individuals have successfully argued that they should not be deported to Rwanda on health or human rights grounds, meaning the numbers due to depart have dwindled down from original 37 to just 7. Other legal challenges were ongoing. Britain has struck a £120 million or $148 million deal with Rwanda to send some migrants who had arrived by crossing the English Channel in a small boat from Europe to live in the East African country. Britain's first flight to take asylum seekers to Rwanda was pulled at the 11th hour on Tuesday, June 14, after the European Court of Human Rights issued injunctions to stop the deportation of the handful of migrants on board, a government source said. The British government's plan to send some migrants to the East African country has been criticized by opponents, charities, and religious leaders who say it is inhumane. London argues that deporting migrants who arrived illegally by crossing the English Channel in small boats from Europe would deter the dangerous journeys and smash the business model of people smuggling networks. In the last few days, at least 30 individuals scheduled to be on the first flight successfully argued that they should not be deported to Rwanda on health or human rights grounds. Just a handful were due to fly from an Air Force base in southwest England on Tuesday, but hours before the plane was due to leave, the European Court, which rules on possible human rights violation, granted injunctions to prevent their deportations. Over 3,000 prisoners convicted of cannabis offenses were released across Thailand on Thursday after the country became the first Asian nation to delist marijuana as a narcotic drug, while foreigners flocked to Bangkok Cannabis pop-up truck praised legalization.
Thousands of inmates from various provinces walked out of prison grounds and were greeted by their relatives upon their release, after cannabis hemp was removed from the Category 5 drug list, according to local media. Thailand legalised the growing of marijuana and consumption in food and drinks on Thursday, with the aim of boosting its agriculture and tourism sectors by smoking pot can still violate public health laws. The Southeast Asian country, which has traditional of using cannabis to relieve pain and fatigue, legalised medical marijuana in 2018. Amnesia, Jack Haze and Night Nurse are just some of the marijuana strains of the sale of the pop-up truck in Bangkok, as retailers cash in demand of the newly legalised substance from the foreigners and locals alike. Thailand last week became the first Asian country to legalise the growing of marijuana and its consumption in food and drinks by delisting it as a narcotic. But smoking pot in public can violate some health laws, and Parliament is debating a draft cannabis bill, meaning there is some confusion on how it can be legalised used. Kira Grata, a 32-year-old customer from Canada, was among several tourists who queued up on the truck on Kaesong Road where staff weighed and packaged buds and crushed leaves to order. I think it might bring people from countries where it is not legal. It could be another tourism pool, she said.
I mean, Kaesong might get a little more chill and less crazy because everyone's going to be stoned. But other than that, I think it might bring people from countries where it's not legal. It could be another tourism pull for people as well, hopefully for Thailand.
The truck currently is an area of Bangkok popular with backpackers, is selling buds at 700 baht or $20 per gram, and different strains have different effects on users such as promoting better sleep, according to staff. Another foreigner, Ketro Kanjama, described his purchase as a dream come true while dancing with a friend in front of the truck.
Yes, I think everything will be better, and I think tourism will be better too, because I know many foreigners want to come in Thailand and want to smoke some small weed on the beach, relax, and so nice.
Thai sellers hope legalising cannabis will help attract more tourists. The Southeast Asian country has a tradition of using cannabis to relieve pain, fatigue and legalised medical marijuana since 2018.
Now let's have a look at the weather and what you can expect for tomorrow. And finally, a group of seniors undulated and shook their behinds wrapped in orange, pink and green hip scarves in a belly dancing class in New Jersey. Some seniors showed up in sequins, wearing headbands adorned with flowers and moved their bodies left and right. The class is hosted by a non-profit organization, Senior Source.
Today, it was magnificent. I love it that a lot of them wore costumes, they wore flowers in their head, they came with, they really dressed up, they really played the game to come and show up. And that's so fun. I mean, how fun could that be to dress up and show up and dance and be with community? It was beautiful to see them smiling and doing their noises and just so beautiful.
Oren said her students get a great workout in addition to other health benefits with belly dancing. She said that burning calories, getting the heart moving, pumping oxygen and energy all over the body, renewing your cells, also strengthening your muscles, working on the flexibility, working on condition because you have to remember your left and then your right, then you go back and then you go forward. Belly dancing really work out the muscle memory and uplifting the spirit. Students Maggie Petrosian and Marian Sapit agreed that it's beautiful, it's sexy, it's exercise, it's discipline, it's a lot of work. It's a great workout and it's healthy because it moves the whole body from top to bottom and they loved it. More than 15 senior women shimmied their shoulders, dropped their hips and belly danced around the room, smiling and laughing along the way. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram, Smart TV or at your favorite app store. More from EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. See you then!